How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, we're going to be continuing the crypto series with our 30th installment. And boy, do I have a lot of information for everyone today. The founder of Binance pardoned by President Trump. What does Citibank think of what's going on with everything? Ripple makes another purchase. Coinbase invests in another company. A bunch of regulators have chimed in with their thoughts on crypto and stablecoins. And, should we be concerned with some of the risks? Should stablecoins be made simpler? We're going to investigate all these things today as we go through a whole series of articles, and I update you guys on kind of everything going around in the crypto world. So we're going to start here with Trump pardons convicted Binance founder Chengpeng Zhao. So Zhao served a 4-month prison sentence. So President Donald Trump pardoned Chengpeng, which he's known by CZ. I'm going to say that. That's easier to say, right? CZ, the convicted founder of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange. Now, Zhao pleaded guilty in 2023 to a single violation of the Bank Secrecy Act, which included failure to properly implement an effective anti-money laundering program. Binance paid $4.3 billion to resolve the Department of Justice's investigation led by former Attorney General Merrick Garland and coordinated by then Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen through its Financial Crimes Unit. Now, awful nice that they were able to pay $4.3 billion to settle the issue. That's a pretty big chunk of change. So CZ left federal prison in September 2024 after serving a 4-month sentence. So President Trump exercised his constitutional authority by issuing a pardon for Mr. Zhao, who was prosecuted by the Biden administration in their war on cryptocurrency. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, "The crypto industry has been revived under the new administration, which has promised to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world." While Biden's DOJ said that Zhao broke the law, some believe the charges were part of the Biden administration's war on crypto and would likely not have merited jail time for any other exchange or financial CEO. Reports of the potential pardon had been circulating in recent weeks, with Zhao himself commenting on a report by Fox Business's Charlie Gasparino via X. Thank you, Charles. Great news if true. Minor correction. There were no fraud charges. I believe the DOJ under the last administration, looked very hard for it, but didn't find any. I pleaded to a single violation of Bank Secrecy Act, so BSA. So Zhao remains the largest shareholder in Binance, though it's unclear if he'll return to the company. Cryptocurrencies are on a roll this year. Bitcoin topped a fresh record, hitting the 126,000 level earlier this month, but has since dropped down to 111,000 levels since it has advanced over 19% this year. So again, very, very, very interesting. Look, I covered a lot of Binance. If you go back and look at earlier episodes of the crypto series, I covered the book Going Infinite, which was written by Michael Lewis and was the whole saga, the failure of FTX. And, Mr. Zhao, CZ, is prominently displayed in that book. He is a prominent character as the founder of Binance. Binance and FTX were going head to head constantly, and it was no holds barred, and they were looking for any which way that one could get a leg up on the other one. And and Binance is not headquartered here in the U.S. They're over in Asia. They don't follow a lot of U.S. regulations. So it's kind of a weird situation. Do I think that there are crimes that he could have probably been charged with? Yeah, absolutely. But you also have to ask yourself, he's out of the U.S. jurisdiction. So what can they really charge him with? It's kind of amazing to me they got him to pay a $4.3 billion fine, which is pretty wild. But I guess if he wanted to get into the good graces of the Trump administration, if he wanted to get into the good graces of U.S. regulators, he had to play ball. He had to pay a big fine. And look, he went to prison for 4 months and came out. Okay. But we'll see. Time will tell if Binance will, come back around and, start doing things the right way, so to speak, and whether or not he'll even go back to the firm. We'll see. Again, another article from Investopedia. President Trump pardons Binance founder. Which tokens are getting a lift? So Bitcoin, as well as tokens linked to the Trump family and Binance, popped on the news before giving back some gains. So let's see here. So Bitcoin saw a quick spike of roughly 3 to 5% before the pop faded. Binance's utility token, BNB, also known as BNB USD, jumped roughly 8% to 15%, depending on the crypto exchange, before giving back some gains. It's now up about 4% in the last 24 hours, according to CoinGecko. Alt5 Sigma, the crypto treasury stockpiling Trump-linked cryptocurrency WLFI, rose over 11%, and the token itself jumped 15%. The White House did not address emailed questions asking about the events leading up to President Trump's clearing Zhao's criminal history. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, in a briefing, described his prosecution as part of the Biden administration's war on cryptocurrency. So some crypto activity saw a little bit of bump from this. And, we'll see what happens here. But let's take a look at some other things, real quick, shall we? So U.S. banks are warming up to crypto coin, even if customers aren't asking for it. So curiosity is replacing hesitancy as banks warm up to stablecoin. So just a few months ago, banks mostly felt panic and anxiety about stablecoin, but now they are more curious about how they could play in the space. So Brooke Ybarra, Senior Vice President of Innovation and Strategy at the American Bankers Association, said October 21st at the group's annual convention. Very few are shutting the door to the possibility that there might be something here, she said. Banks' increased interest is coming despite a lack of customer demand, Ybarra said. They are worried about deposit cannibalization and being left behind if the payment type takes off, she says. What I hear from a lot of bankers is my customers aren't asking for this. There's basically no customer demand, Ybarra said. At the same time, banks are also aware of the often cited notion that if you don't have a stablecoin strategy, well, you're behind, you're going to lose, Ybarra said. Worries that the stablecoin space could scale dramatically and eat away deposits have heightened concerns about what outflows will mean for banks' ability to lend and power and support their economies. Bank of America Corp Chairman and CEO Brian Moynihan echoed those concerns at a later session the same day, saying deposit migration would harm banks and the economy. The question of deposit flight is one of those ones that people say, I'm not worried about it yet. That's because there's not much going on yet, honestly, Moynihan said. But if it becomes a problem, it's going to be hard to put the genie back in the bottle. I would agree with that. He suggested large banks should lead the charge in building stablecoin technology and rails so that it can be extended to smaller banks. The executive likened that approach to the creation of Zelle. Of course, let the largest banks in the country be the masters of the universe. Let them drive it. Don't leave it to the small peons to figure that out. We need to dominate the space, and we need to be able to charge people, bludgeon them to death like we do with Zelle. And then it goes on to say, there could be some opportunity here for community banks. And we'll go on here. Now, speaking of Zelle, big banks enter stablecoin era by taking Zelle international. The move could help big bank owners of payment product head off cryptocurrency competition. So Zelle, the payments product owned by the country's largest banks, said Friday that it plans to allow users to start making international payments using stablecoins, type of cryptocurrency. The move by Early Warning Services, which is owned by a consortium of banks that include JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, followed on the heels of legislation championed by the Trump administration designed to usher stablecoins into the regulated financial system. So Zelle on Friday said the initiative would help users move money across borders and that the service would be available to customers of any bank that is part of the Zelle network. It didn't specify exactly how it would work or when it would launch. The service would represent a significant expansion for Zelle, which has so far limited its payment services to users in the U.S. Unlike its domestic payments product, the new initiative would entail the use of stablecoins, a digital currency that is pegged to a fiat currency such as the U.S. dollar. President Trump in July signed a bill that created federal guardrails and oversight of stablecoins. Well, technically, since they tried to real currency, stablecoins are supposed to maintain a more consistent value than other cryptocurrencies. That makes them particularly attractive as a payments tool. And the new legislation has led to all manner of companies, including Walmart and Amazon, exploring how to issue or use their own coins. So again, very interesting theory. Now, and keep in mind that Early Warning Services also owns the Pays digital wallet. And if you don't know what the Pays digital wallet is, I did an episode on that a ways back. You could go back and check that out. But again, very interesting development. I mean, if in fact Zelle is going to start using stablecoins. That's, very interesting. Here's another article. Stablecoins must become simple, according to a panel. To become widely used, cryptocurrency needs to work as easily as other currencies, a panel of stablecoin experts said. So the biggest hurdle for stablecoins, say industry executives, is making their use mundane. Just as most people don't understand the technical details of a phone call, but operate their devices just fine, so too must stablecoins shed the notion that they're overly complex and they must solve ordinary financial problems, according to a panel discussion convened Tuesday by the Federal Reserve. Decentralized finance and crypto is still not abstracted away enough where it's solving just the problem, as opposed to requiring you to actually understand the underlying mechanics. Fifth Third CEO Tim Spence said at the Fed's Payment Innovation Conference in Washington. So again, I think the point here by these executives is a valid one. Like, in other words, it's got to be made simple. It has to be simplified, and hopefully some of the legislation that's going through right now will address at least some of these concerns. And now stablecoin risks abound. Barr, this is Fed Governor Michael Barr. To make stablecoins viable, regulators implementing the Genius Act must impose protective guardrails, Federal Reserve Governor Michael Barr told a fintech conference. So stablecoins offer enormous opportunity to create new financial products and services, but also immense risks if regulators impose insufficient guardrails. The cryptocurrency will likely prove most useful for cross-border payments, remittances, trade finance, and global companies' internal treasury functions, Barr said Thursday, speaking at the 2025 DC FinTech Week conference. The Genius Act left much of the ultimate framework for stablecoin oversight to state and federal regulators implementing its provisions, requiring them to be mindful of multiple risks, Barr said. Caution is warranted because of the long and painful history of private money created with insufficient safeguards, he said, citing numerous bank runs and periods of market stress. So, I think Michael Barr raises some very valid concerns here, and I would just tell people to keep in mind that there were 3 crypto bills that were passed. There was the Clarity Act, which the Clarity Act is really the key act which creates a lot of the nuts and bolts around the crypto regulation. Who's responsible for what and when happens and what are the things you have to do. That legislation, along with the anti-CBDC bill, those 2 bills were passed by the House and are now currently sitting in the Senate. We don't have an update as of yet as to when the Senate is going to bring that up for discussion and when those could possibly get voted on. So the Genius Act has been signed by President Trump, so that is a law, and basically it's going through the comment period right now, and the regulators are trying to figure out how they're going to write all the rules and everything in it, and that's what Michael Barr is focusing in on right now. But I would tell people that those 3 laws together are what I would call them the 3-legged stool of crypto regulation, and you need all 3 of those things together to provide the full railway safeguards, all the things that Fed Governor Michael Barr is talking about here. So again, we'll have to see what comes about that. Now, a couple other things here. So Citi CEO says tokenized deposits, not stablecoins, fit client needs. So Citigroup Inc. is leaning into tokenized deposits as a solution for institutional clients seeking real-time payments, CEO Jane Fraser said during the company's 3rd quarter earnings report. There's an overfocus on stablecoin at the moment, she said on a conference call. Clients want interoperable, multi-bank, cross-border, always-on payment solutions, Fraser said. That's a mouthful. They want all the complexity solved for them: compliance, reporting, accounting, tax, anti-money laundering. That, frankly, is best done by tokenized deposits. So Citi's services segment, including its treasury and trade solutions business, is its most profitable unit by far, posting $5.36 billion in revenue in the 3rd quarter and a return on tangible common equity of 28.9%. Pretty great numbers there. She said an obstacle for stablecoin use is friction because of the on-off ramp, meaning the need for clients to convert regular currency into stablecoin and then back again after a transaction. So Citi is integrating its token services into a 24/7 clearing network, enabling funds transfers to 250 third-party banks, and more than 40 markets, Frazier said. The bank is seeking adoption increase, though the gating factor is our clients' treasury departments being ready for an always-on environment, and they just aren't at the moment. So again, very, very interesting there. Very interesting comments from Citibank's CEO there on tokenized deposits as compared to stablecoin. And then last couple things real quick. So Binance acquires 67% stake in South Korean crypto exchange GoPax. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And then Ripple's. So Ripple's second billion-dollar deal of 2025 puts it in elite company. The question is whether the watershed year will give the crypto firm a Morgan Stanley-esque afterglow or one more akin to New York Community Bank, which had all kinds of problems. To say that crypto is having a bull market year may not be the deepest insight, but let's quantify it through comparison. On Thursday alone, both Ripple and Kraken announced acquisitions. So Ripple's $1 billion proposed purchase of treasury management software provider G Treasury marked its third nine-figure or higher deal of 2025. Kraken's $100 million acquisition of Small Exchange is the company's fourth major deal of the year. The dollar amount attached to the Ripple deal makes it particularly captivating, especially in light of the company's move in April to purchase prime brokerage firm Hidden Road for $1.25 billion. Taken together, they put Ripple in an elite company. Namely, the crypto firm has become just the third U.S. bank or digital asset provider since 2020 in this columnist recollection to embark on $2 billion acquisitions in the same year. So again, Ripple is on the move, as is Kraken, and as is Coinbase. So Coinbase buys angel investment platform Echo for $375 million. Coinbase, much like its competitors, has made a number of acquisitions this year as the crypto market trends upward and federal regulators adopt crypto-friendly policies. So Coinbase has purchased angel investment platform Echo for approximately $375 million in cash and stock with the intention of building fundraising tools for its users. The cryptocurrency exchange said on Tuesday, Echo, which enables founders to raise funds directly from their community through elite private sale or self-hosting a public token sale, launched in March of 2024 and has since helped projects raise $200 million over roughly 300 completed deals, according to a blog post on the acquisition. So with the acquisition, Coinbase said it's building investment solutions into its platforms, including providing easier access to capital and community-aligned fundraising tools for founders and differentiated investment opportunities for investors. So again, so much happening here in the crypto space. I mean, it's amazing how much news is coming in. And, I know it's been a while since I brought you guys a crypto episode, a crypto update. I apologize for that. I actually have a lot more crypto related information coming. I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to put together some more of these episodes in the coming weeks, just to get all that stuff caught up, because I have a ton of just back, crypto information from stuff that's been happening over the last few months. But I will wrap up by saying, if you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as that always helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I always love getting back to everybody. And as always, make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel, especially the crypto series. If you've not checked out any of the other episodes from the crypto series, please make sure to go check them out. I think you will. There's something there for everybody. If you want crime, if you want fraud, if you want all kinds of things, stories about just crypto, stablecoin, Bitcoin, whatever the case may be, I got something there for everybody, guaranteed. So, but with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I hope everyone has a great day out there, and I will see you again real soon.